twinsies or no twins?
Either way, were we twins last time?
Twins are guns.
Twins are guns.
We want gun.
Hi, we're the gun twins.
Oh, hey, I got the little bumpy poo right there.
Oh, bro, this is so funny. I have gone my whole life without either recognizing it or maybe there's something that happens as you get older. But the other day, I was in the bathroom.
Nice.
And I walk out and I just walk up to Karen and I was like, my elbows are pointy. Look at how pointy these elbows are.
They are pointy.
Super pointy.
Show the people.
I don't know if I... Look at these elbow points.
Hang on, are mine? No.
I was like, I can carve some bread with these elbows.
There's a little point.
Yeah. And I just had this whole just like... is it a Mandela effect? Did I switch dimensions or something to where now I have pointy elbows? I was like, will you still love me
like
with
talons.
my pointy? I know. I've always had pointy elbows. And
when do you ever stand like this?
Precisely. And that day I was, because my forearms and so my brachialis, which is the muscle that kind of connects the bicep to the forearm and stuff. It goes across the elbow. They were really sore because I was doing a lot of overhanded curls.
What's this one right here?
That's the brachialis. It keeps going up in here and then ties into the middle of the bicep.
Okay.
So that was like really sore to where they were like seizing. So I was like, I got out of the shower and I was just like, because I had to wash my hair and stuff. And so they were just like locked. And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, pointy elbows.
Oh, man. Yeah, this morning I was doing a dumbbell press and I kicked the dumbbell up on this side like I normally do. And like kind of cramped up a little bit. I was like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Are we okay? Are we all right? No, we're okay. Keep going.
You probably used your arm to help it though, right?
I think so. Whatever it was, it hurt right there.
Yeah. Same like movements like a hammer curl kind of.
I swear this is not a bodybuilding channel, but
not yet.
I'm getting older and I need to get into the gym. Okay.
Now you just gotta get that juice.
The juice.
Steroids.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Hi, welcome to Phantom Power Hour.
I'm Josh.
You can't do it 2 episodes in a row, Jeremy.
I am
Groot.
Groot.
I'm Josh. That's Jeremy.
Groot.
You say Groot. I played 2 rounds of Marvel Rivals. It's not for me, guys. There's too much going on. It's not for me. But I am plat in Rocket League now. So there's that.
Is that the one where you play soccer with a car?
Yeah. I've been off and on since that came out. It's been my like 2 or 3 times a year. I'll pick it up, play a few matches, and then just put it away. But that turned into my like end of day de-stressing, like just turn brain off for like 3 or 4 matches. And I was just on a winning streak and started playing the competitive matches for the first time. Went platinum.
We're witnessing royalty right now.
I'm basically an athlete, Jeremy. I'm just like,
yeah.
I am not saying this, but the people are saying I'm a god gamer.
I'm not flipping cars, so I don't know. Like they're so acrobatic.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I know that much about Rocket League.
What do you know about Rockstar Games?
Grand Theft Auto.
Did you ever play Grand Theft Auto back in the day? Which one? Which console? PlayStation 2?
Xbox.
Original Xbox?
360.
360. Probably Vice City.
I think I did Vice City.
Maybe 4.
Which one was the one with the dirt ball?
Was that GTA 5? Were there multiple characters you could play as?
Yeah.
So you played 5?
Yeah.
You know that's the newest one? Yeah.
How long has it been out?
A very long time.
Oh, wow.
And you know that they are still raking in the dough on that game?
It's a great game.
It's great.
I love that game.
Yeah.
I played the one before that, GTA 4, where you had one character.
I did not like GTA 4.
That's not as good. But then Vice City was fun.
Vice City's still pinnacle to me. Like, GTA 5 is cool. You can do way more stuff. It is fun, bigger map, but something about the spirit that was encapsulated in GTA Vice City just it has my heart. But I bring up Rockstar because they are starting a music label to go along with their launch of GTA 6 this year.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Well, probably will make dollars and lots of dollars. But one thing that GTA has always been known for since I think probably GTA 3 was their like radio system in the cars.
I remember I would just get in a car and drive just to listen to like the talk radio one.
Dude, those are so funny.
When does it repeat? And it never did. I'm sure it would if I'd listened long enough, but like, and some of the music on there was just so absurdly weird.
It was cool because there was like this mix of well-known songs that they got licensing for, and then songs that they made, I guess. I could be wrong, but I do believe I remember multiple artists have like premiered songs or launched songs within GTA 5.
That's cool.
But this article here, I need to be subscribed. I don't want to pay for a subscription.
Are you OBSing?
See, that's why we keep him around. Okay, Rockstar Games has a music label, Circo Loco Records. This is probably in Spanish. No, it's not. Again, this is from 2021.
Where are you getting your information?
I got my information from a new... Nope, that's from 2021 as well. I don't know what happened. If my computer was just like, we're going to take you back in time getting information. Either way, I didn't know about their studio, like their music studio. And this makes more sense when I said that artists have been premiering songs in GTA 5. And the reason I pulled this was because a few episodes ago we were talking about League of Legends.
Yeah.
And they have a music studio.
Riot
and just
Games.
Kind of, yeah. And this like cross-pollination of the music industry and the gaming industry. I'd be interested to see what comes out of this. And if they are purely just getting artists in and players in to come in to make songs for their games. But it seems like if they're making a full-blown label, there might be bigger plans than that.
I mean, if nothing else, it's just having control over what's going on. Like you build this entire universe, you have access to a market, and now you control basically every end of consumption.
The Rockstar blurb about this, music has always been a fundamental part of Rockstar Games, from the championing of underground artists and scenes across our titles to the meticulously curated radio stations of Grand Theft Auto.
How underground did they get that? Like,
I don't know. I mean, for all we know, some of those songs that you and I would listen to that
I guess in the moment you just assume they were, I know.
Now we're further fusing the physical and digital worlds of entertainment by teaming with Circo Loco, creators of some of the world's biggest and most influential real-world parties and one of the most recognized brands in modern dance music, to create a brand new record label, Circo Loco Records. So they have some EPs they've debuted, probably more since this was originally written. Yeah, I don't know. I pulled it because I thought it was interesting seeing more of this merge. We do have a prompt. How might Rockstar's Games' new music label enhance the gaming experience in the Grand Theft Auto series? Or what could the wider implications of more video game companies venturing into the music industry? I think the second one, the implications of more video game companies venturing into the music industry, seems pertinent.
You see it everywhere though. Like, I mean, Doom was like the first one that like really broke the fourth wall.
That's the first one that made a big impact to me for sure.
Where Riot Games was, I think they probably wrote the book on it, but Doom was the first one that seems like well, these things can completely coexist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I had no interest in, not that I didn't have an interest, I just don't play video games. I played Doom, the original version, and the music was not as good. But like, I listened to that record and it had nothing to do with the game.
Right.
I guess same with League of Legends. Like, I listen to almost everything Riot puts out.
Yeah.
And haven't played League of Legends ever.
Yeah. Me neither. I've watched some videos. I've been watching Ludwig's rise to domination in League of Legends.
But I mean, that first initial like jumping off point, like everybody talks about this with YouTube, that if you want to start something on YouTube or any, I guess any social media, like you got to give the machine enough data to figure you out. So it's like you're starting with this audience. So whatever you put out immediately gets in front of millions of eyes. Like that's a lot of analytical data to help you get to that next level.
That's true. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other data kind of harvested from those viewers, especially people playing things like League of Legends, playing these online only games where you have some things that you agree to in terms of services. Who knows what data is actually getting
you will let
pulled
us
from
use your
and stuff.
bathroom when we're in town.
I would let you use my bathroom whenever you're in town.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You have a nice bathroom. It's cozy.
It is cozy. It is cozy. The other one's pretty nice too.
Do you have another bathroom?
Yeah, we have a second. You thought that was our only bathroom?
Didn't know. I've only seen the one.
No, we got two. We got two bathrooms.
Yeah.
2 for number 2. You know what I mean?
Do you poop in both or just you have your pooping bathroom?
Well, that's for off-air conversation. Boy, you poop with that butt. I don't even know where I was going. Yeah, so yes, for me, the big merge of video game music and an audience outside of gamers was the Doom soundtrack from Doom Eternal. But I've seen it kind of trickle in before that. It didn't really reach the outside of gamers community, but for as long as I can remember, there have been certain soundtracks that people would listen to. Like I have a Witcher 3 CD in my car just because the music is dope. And the edition I bought came with the CD.
I would have a Pharaoh soundtrack if I could play the dang game again.
No update on Pharaoh?
No.
Have you just let it die?
I don't know.
I mean, did you even look into the new one?
I'm a beaten man, Josh. One can only take so much.
I mean, Pharaoh New Era, you would have better luck. It's the same thing. It's on Steam.
I just feel like I've taken one too many punches, I'm afraid, you know.
Bud, you got to get it back out in the ring. Like, lick your wounds, I understand, but you got to get back out there. Pharaoh, A New Era on Mac.
It's just depression. All the Reddits are depressing.
Yeah, just like we had a commenter saying a virtual machine would probably work, which most likely will. It's the silicone aspect that I'm unsure of. I think I replied to the comment saying I've not used a VM on the silicone chip.
Do you say silicone or silicon?
Yes. I interchange them. I got to keep the people guessing.
Okay.
Do you say pillow or pillow?
Shut up.
Now is not the time to figure out how to get you playing Pharaoh again, but we will.
Pharaoh.
We will get that happening.
We were talking about
Rockstar Studios. They're not the only one making studios, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to go for another transition, but I like this one better.
You like this one better? I don't mean to step on your transitions. I was going to
go back to poop. Brown note. Synths.
That is a great... I mean, any transition that includes poop, I am game for.
Somebody's going to clip that.
Someone's going to clip it. I hope they do.
So, but other studios? Yeah. Is this one recent? Oops.
Oh, this is one we were looking for. It got pulled. So this link no longer works. I caught it before the story was gone. So that makes me wonder if there was validity to it?
There's probably not if they pulled it. But they also have like posts on their own thing from years ago.
These must have all been old. I don't know how that would have happened. All of these are from 2021.
That's weird. Well, let's not talk about that then. So back to you mentioned bathrooms. Brown note.
I think you mentioned bathrooms.
Okay, I mentioned bathrooms.
And I just gave you access to
that. Makes me think of brown note. Which makes you think of synths.
Which makes you think of Kenny G from the South Park episode of the Brown Note. Gotcha.
Which brings us all the way back to Heritage Audio.
I don't think anybody could refute that logic or that trail.
Nope. Yeah. Anyway, so they have a new switcher.
Do you know her?
Hardly. But you brought this one up, and then I have kind of a counterpoint to your melody.
Oh, look at you with the music lingo. Nerd.
I saw this. It looked pretty cool, but it is very heritage with like the big old knobs. Like everything's kind of Neve-esque.
I would want to feel it, but I like the satisfying
we'll be at NAMM.
Satisfying click. Yeah. So Heritage launched the Synth Buddy 10-to-1 reversible and fully passive stereo switch. My understanding is this is for you folks that have racks of synths on your wall and you're just trying to play one MIDI keyboard and get the sounds out of those, right?
Or just routing all the outputs into one output.
Yeah.
So whichever one you happen to be playing, you don't have to have 10 separate inputs. You can just take 10 different sources and put it into
one input.
Yeah, or two, a left and a right. Yeah.
The way my brain thinks of this, how I would use it if I had just a bunch of dope synths in my room, is I would MIDI control all of them, because you would be using the synths for their sounds, right? Mm. And not all synths play very well, especially the really good sounding ones don't always physically play great.
I mean, that's still a use case.
Yeah, and this would be so cool. MIDI keyboard in front of you at your desk, knob right next to you, all your synths along the wall with the different settings set up. Just
Yep.
Or you can get a plug-in.
A plug-in?
Yeah.
No, we're analog. Come on. We're not having this discussion. Go to Flock Audio.
Flock you.
Same idea with a very different approach. So Flock Audio, I am super interested in, like, automating patch base, essentially. So everything's digitally controlled. Everything can be under the hood. You can change your patches from your computer or your phone. I don't know, whatever. But
so this is what Colt was showing us, right?
Yeah. When we were down in Nashville at Colt's place, he has one of these for his outboard stuff. So you can basically move anything into whatever chains, save settings, like super handy.
This is unreal.
But they have a new
patch LP
switch, I think.
Oh, the switch?
There you go.
Yeah, that looks cool. You still have the one big knob, but it's like modern. They went with that triangular vibe.
But they're not just marketing it as like, hey, you have 10 synths. They're like, well, here's a bunch of stereo inputs, but you only have a 2-channel DAW. No big deal. Now you can have everything hooked up and you're in it. It's like, it's a patch bay for like bedroom producers, I suppose. And it's a really clever way to do it. It makes patching like very approachable.
No, I'm correct in thinking like you still only get a left and a right like audio signal output. So like 2 outputs out of this at the max, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's a pass through.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing some wizardry. I couldn't think of how it would be possible for that not to be the case.
There hasn't been a lot of information out on this, so I mean, I could be missing something too. But on the surface, it just seems like analog or digital rear connections.
Interesting. You can have USB-C connectivity there. What does it mean by analog or digital connection?
This is a USB-C.
There's no way you can get all inputs if you're using the USB-C, right?
Unless it's an interface, but I don't think it is.
No AD to DA conversion.
So it's not. Okay.
So where does their...
Maybe it's digitally controlled.
Maybe it just means there is a USB-C rear connection and it's digital. Therefore, you have a digital rear connection.
Okay. I feel like I'm missing something, though.
If there's no conversion...
What examples does it give? Like right there.
Microphones, synths, guitars, drum machines, Euro rack, which we talked about before filming.
Yeah.
I wish I was into it, but my wallet is happy I'm not.
What's that one?
AES/EBU signals.
Is that that's an input?
Output, it says. But why does it show input going into here?
That's interesting.
And it says
they're
analog
not one-to-one.
symbols.
So are I wonder if the TRS jacks are AES EBU. That's confusing and wild.
Yeah. I like the subtle RGB on it. It's cool. Makes it look nice on your desk. You can use it at night.
I think it's a cool solution to a weird problem.
There's noise suppression when you switch your channels.
Okay. I feel like that's where they're going after heritage, like with a big rotary knob.
Yeah.
Click.
And I mean, it's cool that you can control it from the computer too. I mean, I could see maybe this is not, maybe it's nicer for cable management reasons to not have it directly on your desk or within arm's reach or something. Tuck it away. You can still control it from your computer.
I don't know why more companies don't do like a fully remote control.
Especially if all you're doing is sending signal to change something on the device. Like it doesn't have to be low latency or anything.
I mean, if this is already like digitally controlled,
just slap a Bluetooth adapter on that bad mama jumbo and you're fine.
Or just take the back part of that with all the I/O. You have a brick behind your desk mounted, and then one Ethernet cable to your switch. Like, I would rather have that every time.
Yeah, but bedroom producers aren't going to have a switch and, want that. A bedroom producer is going to want this form factor, I think.
So they don't have to get behind the desk?
Yeah, or they don't have a desk to get behind.
That's a good point.
They've just got a little table in their corner with a nice window.
That's true.
A nice view of the apartment complex that's 2 feet away from their window.
Yeah. Because that's one thing I like with the radial, the nuance, their monitor control. I love that monitor control, and it's like nice and heavy. But I'm used to having like my dangerous ST, the monitor ST.
Mm-hmm.
So like all the connections are in the rack, but I have my remote that sits right here and I can control everything.
Yeah.
Just Ethernet connection. And so wherever I am in the room, that thing can go with me on like a cable loom. So it's not 20 cables coming to that thing. I wish Radial would have like at least a version of the nuance that did that. So it's like, if you move it, you have the risk of pulling out 20 different cables. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I like the remote thing.
Mm-hmm. I get that 100%. And I do feel as though like it wouldn't be much more cost of the product to implement something that allows you to have either with Ethernet like adapter or something and another little chassis that connects, or like I was saying, this one specifically, you can keep it as a form factor, add a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth chip in there, connect it to the network, and use the same program that you already have that requires a USB-C connection.
I wonder if you already can do that because they have so much controllability. Like,
I feel as though it would mention some kind of wireless connectivity if there was some.
Because go to their patch stuff.
This is the new one, the Patch LV.
Oh, what's new?
Patch designed for live sound. It's the patch system front of house engineers have been asking us for.
I'm a front of house engineer.
Have you been asking for?
What did I ask for?
Digital side, Dante 16 channels, 8 inputs, 8 outputs, 192 kilohertz, 32-bit. 48 channels on the analog side, 24 in, 24 out.
Wow.
Works with the Patch app. So you can change inputs and everything in there.
So
there's no AD to DA conversion on the analog side.
Okay.
64-point connection total.
DB25 D subs. Yep. Create, store, recall. So I guess what's the difference between? Is it just the fact that it's Dante? So then you can incorporate it live. See, that's an interesting one, because I mean you could technically get in there with D subs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having like DB25, like if you were a band and you want a whole lot of stuff in a very small space, that might be pretty cool, because it gets rid of the traditional stage box. If you want to run DB25 and use like the little snakes like Diodario makes, like you just pop them right onto a DB25 cable, and now you've got 8 XLR inputs. Like that could be a way to get out.
That could be something that we look into as well, because we're going to need to have. Well, that's another conversation.
Check the price on.
Well, not this one. We have no need for the fancy tech in there or for the Dante stuff.
Have you looked at their stuff?
I've never heard of Flock.
What the flock?
I know. You just now told me about them. What's their their flagship patch?
I think it's just their regular one. Like they have different sizes. So, okay. The Flock Audio patch, $3,000.
Oh my God.
Yep.
What about Patch LT?
Patch Lite?
Light, yeah.
How many is that? How many inputs do you have, though? 16 by 16.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of I/O.
No.
Keep in mind, I have 2 patch bays in there that are each 96 point.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like the amount that I would need, I think when I priced it out with them, it would be like 10 grand to switch out all my stuff.
Here's my question. Why are we still using USB-B? Why, especially on high price items, why are we still using USB-B? Why are we doing it?
Actually, my West Audio NG tube is USB-B.
Why?
I don't know.
Let's just use the same connection that we used for printers in the 90s. That's fine. Like, what the heck?
I kind of like that connection, though.
It's way better than micro USB can go burn in hell. But
I'll agree with you. Yeah.
And I see this is probably more rigid of a connection. If that's the argument, I'll accept that. But I don't know. I guess this is not really sending any data, like audio data.
No, it's just like a digital controlled switcher,
which you don't need speed for. I get it, but man,
I mean, I don't know how much money that saves as far as like a build out on a board, but
probably a few cents.
It does feel like in the back of a rack, that feels more robust than most USB-C cables.
I didn't finish that thought, but you're right. Like a USB-C, it's not flimsy, but it's going to be flimsier than a USB-B. Easier to just like...
The tight's not always as... Or the fit is not always as tight.
True, yeah.
Where USB-B, like, it's in there.
And if you're reaching back blindly trying to plug it in, B's way easier. Oh, that's so fine. It's just... It gives me a little bit of the ick seeing USB-B on high priced,
because then you have to keep an extra, and like that's not a bunch of cables I want to keep around. Like
now, if everything was
this drawer right over here is just full of random USB cables that I need for like different stuff.
Everybody from our generation has a drawer or cabinet in their house, or tote even.
Yeah,
that is just cables you've collected since you were roughly 12 to 14 years old.
Pull this thing.
I hope we're not talking about the drawer.
It won't come out. To replace both of my patch bays, to get the 192. It's just a nice little modest price.
Oh, that's, pocket change, right?
Are you screen recording?
I am, yeah. Which one is that one? The XT 192.
I can find the change in my couch.
Yeah, I mean, cool as a cucumber, 13 grand. Or, I mean, you could, pay about a mortgage in Indiana's worth a month.
That's more than my mortgage.
Yeah.
That's a lot more.
That's why I said it.
Okay. But, if we want to do apples to apples here, so that's 13 grand. Okay.
But
where's my
here's the real question, Jeremy. Yes, 13 grand, insane amount. Would the ability to digitally change the patching, would that almost be worth it for your use case?
Let's take into account what I have here. So I have 2 of these that are like 1,400 a piece.
Yeah.
So right there, we're up to 2,000. So there's a discrepancy of 10 grand here.
This is true.
Keep in mind, I now need a whole lot of TT cables. They're not expensive, but they're definitely not cheap, especially if you want ones that aren't going to break in the middle of a session, and they do.
And extras.
The beauty here, I have to clean and service these quite a bit to make sure those connections are okay. And even during sessions, you sometimes hear stuff.
Yep.
Because I gotta clean it.
Swap it, yeah.
And it's an open connection. It oxidizes. It happens. This.
And I spit in it every time I come over. I just right into an
Some
input.
people pay for that. But this, there's none of that.
Yeah.
You don't have that issue. You're paying a lot more for it.
Is this just for a real quick and easy, you don't want to try something out real quick?
Get in, get out.
Yeah. So how many? 92? 192?
Yeah, 192. So it's literally 2 of these.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of IO.
But if you never again had to manually plug and unplug to move things around,
I'd love it.
Is it worth 10 grand to you? 10 grand over the rest of the lifetime of your studio, theoretically?
Here's something to think about. If I could set up scenes and just recall, if I was here's a tracking with a band of this type, and I just boop, click, it's all done. After setting up this stuff, you just took my setup time for a normal session from literally a day to 2 days to maybe a couple hours.
Can't you, though? Can't you save scenes?
You can. That's what I'm saying. Right now, patching is the part where you mess things up in the studio.
Right.
There's every point of failure is at the patch bay. I love having that control and that flexibility, but it's literally the worst piece of it. You have a bunch of exposed cables, anything. It's not a good time.
This is kind of cool. I've never looked into the app other than what Colt has shown us, but it has these little almost journaling sections you can add to your sessions that you save. And so if there's a guitar sound you really love, you can take a picture of mic placement and mic choice and save that to whatever channel that you saved as a preset.
That's really cool.
Same with take pictures of your actual gear, your compressors and your preamps and stuff.
That's handy.
Yeah. And then type out session notes.
Whoa.
Annotate and mark up the notes. What is bridge?
So it opens up during the session. Oh my god.
It's just in your DAW. Oh man. I didn't know it did all this.
Hey guys. Flock audio. Can you hear me? Can we do something together? Can you bring me into the modern age and help me get rid of my spaghetti?
They offer perpetual licenses. That's almost unheard of these days.
You don't need a license for a patch bay, though, to be fair.
That's true. For this one, though, in order to use the app and everything, you need a license.
I would want to know that software is open source. If something were to happen
You could actually
that I have a $13,000 brick. Like there has to be that level of like at least let me use it as a patch bay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is frightening. I mean, I think
because they can say they'll keep it updated as much as they want, but if they go under,
if you go under and your servers go down, then what is it? Does it?
Well, it's probably all local.
Still, I mean, if something needs to operate within a certain operating system,
theoretically, if it's working and the company goes under, it'll just keep working until your computer hardware changes.
Still, that's a $13,000 anchor. Then
you're right. You're right. But I mean,
with no resale value.
Yeah.
So what is this? So you do have iPad and iPhone on which one?
On the DX, the Patch App DX. That is what also includes all the tags things.
So wait, this is something you pay for?
I think that you can get a free version of the app that doesn't include the extra goodies. And then there's a perpetual license version. How much
is that license? If I'm paying $14,000, $13,000,
you can get an annual subscription for $500 or perpetual is $150.
Okay.
Which is not bad. Makes me wonder
why
who is going to buy the annual subscription when you could just pay for 3 years and get a perpetual license.
If you think that's weird. It feels like just include it.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a side topic, but have you ever sold anything that used an iLock license?
No.
I wonder how that process works, like transferring an iLock license to somebody else.
Actually, I have done that before with I sold my Slate Raven. Thank God.
I didn't know you actually ended up selling it. I knew you were trying to sell it.
I mean, way below what I wanted to, but at least it's gone. But yeah, that thing, I have a license for it. So you basically have to pay like a $20 or $25 license transfer fee.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but
it's so slimy.
It is. Yeah. And I think that was, I don't even know that that's iLock. It might be iLock, but actually I think he paid Slate to do it. I don't remember, but
that is still slimy, but I am a little bit more accepting when it's Slate themselves. Yeah. Like trying to get a little bit more out of something that they built and sold. Otherwise,
no. Go. I'll let you finish.
I don't love it, but if it's just iLock stepping in and saying, yeah, we control you being able to use these licenses. You want somebody else to get it? You got to pay us first. It feels very like mafia-esque to me.
Yeah. I don't know that that's the case, but so with Slate, I know I had to do that. With UA, I had to do that.
Yeah, UA is notorious for being complicated.
And there was a big one. I think it was like $75.
That's crazy, but that's probably again paying UA themselves, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nothing to do with iLock. But
sorry to keep interrupting. Do the plugins that you have through UA transfer with that as well?
I can't use most of them right now, actually,
because you don't have a device, right?
Well, I have one, but it's no longer supported.
No.
I have the satellite boxes, which they don't support anymore.
So they're just like, nope, doesn't work.
That's like, okay, that's fine. But even when they upgrade certain plugins, like some of them stay legacy, right? Mm-hmm. So I had like the whole 1176 collection, all the LE2As, a bunch of stuff. Oxford Inflator, all that fun stuff. It works on that computer. Now intern is working on getting the second one up and running. There's nothing I can do because they're either not upgrading those to native or they're somehow attached to this device. And I've tried to contact somebody at UA and figure out what I need to do because certain plugins are like, I literally can't install anything else because it says I need to update my device. It's not supported. There is no update for it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like locked in where I am right now, and all this money's wasted essentially. I have some things that have become native, but it's like, well, geez, if I give in and go to that native side, I have to relinquish all the licenses for these other plugins that don't exist anymore. So it's like, well, that sucks.
I like the idea of console with UA stuff. I like the idea of
I never liked it. It gets in the way.
Well, imagine you don't have any outboard gear.
Yeah.
It really is cool for a few reasons of being able to offload that DSP onto another device.
Which do we really need anymore?
Not so much anymore. But most
UA stuff has like at most 4 shark chips. And like
it's not a lot.
No, it's not.
But the one thing I do like about it that I have personally kind of witnessed whenever I use it at the Powell Brothers studio. It's nice because it puts you in that frame of mind that you have in a studio with outboard gear of you get a sound, you commit it. That's just it.
I do like that part of it.
And that is very good for especially the 3 of us in a room working on one song for a few days. It's like you get into the weeds, man. You second guess everything. Yeah. And if you can start carving away some of that, it's very helpful. But that's not enough of a benefit for me to ever want to buy into the UA ecosystem. Like they have some very cool stuff. I love the sound of a lot of their plugins, but
Well, and there was a long time where UA was the king of making plugins. Now there's like, it's hard to find bad plugins, I guess.
They're out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm with you, though.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like anytime you try to lock it down to hardware, at a time it made sense. And I mean, even Avid got rid of that model. But for the longest time, UA held on to it. And eventually they didn't. They kind of the way they did it was pretty genius. As they talk about, oh, we're going native, or this is UAD Spark. All it is was 2020, they couldn't get their Shark DSP chips, and they had to call an audible, or they weren't going to have an income.
Yep.
So it kind of forced them into going into the native world, and all of a sudden people are like, wait a minute, I don't need a satellite to run all these? It actually
could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, it actually runs better? Oh, well, that's weird. I don't have to just use 8 plugins on this thing, and then I'm locked out. No, so it kind of like it showed their hand a little bit.
I have a theory. This could be completely off base here. I hope I'm very wrong, but I have a slight tinge of assumption that there might be some intentional bloating in the native versions of their plugins versus when you run them in console.
They're heavy for no reason.
Need to be.
No. And the weird thing is the latency reporting is like pretty hefty.
Yeah, when that doesn't need to be that way.
I mean, if you go to Plugin Alliance, and I mean, Plugin Alliance, okay, we're just trading one subscription for another, but I think Plugin Alliance does it really, really well. We can get into that at another time. But if you go, like, their stuff does not hit your CPU very hard at all. And latency is darn near 0 on every single Plugin Alliance button, unless there's a look ahead. Or you've got
there's no getting around that.
Yeah, but like if there's anything that needs look ahead to function, or like a delay or weird effects or something like that, like or a transient shaper, then you have a little bit of delay. But 90% of their stuff is 0 latency.
Yeah,
and you can toss it everywhere, and your computer's not going to slow down. So like, why when I put on an LA2A from Universal Audio, it's like 1,000 milliseconds of delay. This doesn't. This makes no sense.
Taking a big old bite out of your
it's
CPU
massive.
DSP. Yeah. Are we telling them that we had an overheat?
Guess we just did.
Don't have to. I can cut it.
Look, it happens. The older you get.
You know what else happens? I'm just going to go ahead and call this one out. OBS was recording wrong. I fixed it.
User error.
Okay, yes. But
I only say that as somebody who's used OBS 1,000 times, and I still mess it up.
So what had happened was when I'm at home editing videos, I used this just monstrous monitor, too big for any one human, but I still use it, super ultra wide. And sometimes I have to use OBS to get clips of Recording Studio Loser videos, or like clips of web pages and stuff. It's easier than just doing a screenshot if I just OBS and then scroll down or something. And it was on. It thought that it was still screen grabbing from that, but it was not. So the canvas size was like over 3 times as big as what I'm actually using. So sorry, it's fixed now. Better late than never.
Anyway, so Universal Audio, boo.
I don't
remember where we were before that.
We are getting long-winded here, but last episode you had teased that you were going to talk about Spotify a little bit.
Do we know this one's current?
Oh, yeah. December 20th. So within the last few weeks.
I believe I've been preaching the gospel of anything except for Spotify for a while now. Mm-hmm. I don't know how far back we can go where we talked about not using Spotify, and I don't miss it. I still get Spotify playlists. I'm like, hey, I don't have Spotify. Send me something else. They always do. So I could care less that I don't use it anymore. Couldn't care less. Could care less. Couldn't care less. I don't care. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so they're manipulating playlists to once again try to pay as little as possible in royalties. Surprise. Allegedly surprise.
So this time around, to kind of pinch pennies, it is believed that Spotify is using ghost artists.
Pinching pennies. When you pay the least of any distribution method already, and you're trying to pinch pennies even more, go on.
So before I kind of explain the allegation, it also, if this is true, has most likely been happening since 2017.
That
lots of pennies to pinch in 8 years.
I mean, I don't know if this breaks. Does it break any laws? Like, if you assume a level playing field of any like streaming service, is that? I mean, they can do whatever they want. It's their platform.
I suppose so. I wonder if there's any kind of contractual loopholes that were put in place to make it not against the law or breach contracts of some kind. But first of all, before we get into this, I said 2017 was 8 years ago. That math is correct. Can you believe 2017 was 8 years ago?
I graduated high school in 2005. That's my 20-year. Go on.
Yeah. That was still a twinkle in my father's eye in 2005. I was only 5.
You weren't?
I was 5 years away from graduating. So
it's like that math don't work.
I'm just trying to call you an old man.
Thanks.
So allegedly, Spotify has been using ghost artists to kind of pad out popular playlists. And my understanding, maybe not even only popular ones, but essentially, my understanding is they are going to these like lo-fi hip hop playlists, jazz, classical playlists, which get streamed a lot. And in order to in order to not just keep paying for these people that are most likely sleeping or studying or something during these playlists, they're injecting their own ghost artists in those lists so that the real artist gets played less often. Therefore, they have to pay the real artist less often.
Well, royalties would still be changing hands. It's just coming back to them.
Yeah.
Effectively. Because they don't really control how or who gets paid. But if they can inject their own stuff and manipulate playlists so that their own material comes back, they're effectively paying themselves. Which, is that not what they force artists to agree not to do, and why they've pulled off so many people for like allegedly creating these false streams? Is that not exactly what they're doing?
It might just be because of where it's being sourced. So in the report, they use some analytics to show Spotify's ambient chill playlist, and they have gotten rid of artists like Brian Eno, Bibio, John Hopkins, and instead has tracks from Epidemic Sound, which is the company. They have lots of, you've probably heard of Epidemic Sound. Lots of content creators use that to get licenses to be able to stream their songs.
So they aren't changing because that's royalty-free music.
Yes.
What? Wait,
unless they pay for one perpetual license.
You'd still have to pay for a play, though.
Well, who knows? Maybe there's background deals going on or something like that. Who owns Epidemic? Is there any kind of partnership in some kind of way?
I use Epidemic Sound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So not only are they allegedly just thickening the playlist with their own ghost artists, but from what this is saying, they're actually actively removing real artists from playlists and replacing them with their ghost artists or just Epidemic Sound songs.
Epidemic Sound is owned by EQTAB, which is a Swedish investment organization. I don't know how that wraps back around.
I mean, if Spotify did the math and they're saying, hey, you guys don't do this, let's keep it under the table on the hush-hush, we will pay you this many doll hairs to just get your library and we stream it. You get all the doll hairs. We take all the risk. And if Spotify did the math of, over a period of 5 years, what estimated royalties will be going out for these playlists, and they can curb that, I mean, I could see that happening pretty easily. And by 2023, several hundred playlists were reportedly being monitored. And over 150 of them were the Spotify playlists that Spotify curates themselves.
Man,
it's a lot of playlists.
That seems like when they go after people who's the YouTube guy? Ben. He does a lot with AI, and he's had all this back and forth with Spotify. His stuff's been pulled for
yes.
I think I showed you some of his videos with ambisonic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He has back and forth with Spotify all the time, getting stuff pulled because of it's flagged as false. And Spotify has a reputation for if you get on their wrong side, they'll pull you.
Mm-hmm.
How is this not a manipulation of some kind? I understand that you're not technically paying for plays, but you're effectively paying for plays in a reverse way. You're not paying. If you control the plays, how is this not a monopolistic behavior? I understand that the rebuttal would be, well, it's not a monopoly. You can go wherever you want.
Right.
But they do hold a certain market share and control of the market. This, they've done so many things that are monopolistic in behavior, deciding to pay artists less.
Demonetizing tracks that have been streamed less than 1,000 times within a year.
There you go. As well as still being one of the lowest quality streaming platforms you can listen to.
Yeah.
My intern, he was on Spotify. I was like, you got to get off Spotify, man. Go to YouTube Music. Next, he started listening. He's like, oh yeah, I can tell a difference. It is better.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I understand you might lose some playlists. It's not as bad as you think.
No.
Get off of Spotify. If you value music of any kind, they don't value you.
I mean, if you just listening to music, listen to something better. It's
do you pay for Amazon Prime? Then you have something else. You have an alternative that you already pay for.
Yeah.
Do you pay for YouTube Premium? You already have.
If you don't pay for YouTube, get rid of all your other subscriptions. Just get YouTube Premium.
It's the best. I freaking love YouTube.
I mean, YouTube is not a saint by any means.
No.
But the offerings of YouTube Premium being bundled with YouTube Music, it's just, I don't know.
And it's way better.
It's so much better.
Hell, even Apple. Go to Apple Music. Just get off of Spotify.
You kind of have to use Apple right now if you want to dabble with any of the Atmos stuff.
Yeah, they're currently the only one. Them and does Tidal do it?
Yeah.
But who has Tidal? Let's be honest. So if you want immersive, you have to have Apple. So right now, my two ones I'm using are YouTube and Apple.
Yeah, I used Apple after I got my laptop. I got free Apple Music for 3 months.
Yeah,
I used it then, but I didn't re-up on the sub.
If I didn't want it for immersive, like I can't wait for YouTube to support this.
Yeah.
Because then it's all over, man. Like then it's everywhere. But because I genuinely like listening when you turn on like loudness normalization and you listen to a stereo and an Atmos on a good mix, that Atmos mix slays the stereo every time.
If it's a good Atmos mix.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. But
I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about this Spotify thing. Like, go figure, Spotify is most likely doing more shady stuff to keep their pockets padded.
I would love to know what their overhead looks like. Like all the things that they've done, you would think that they are just hanging on by a thread. Because they already pay people the least. They already have like one of the highest turnover and employee.
Well, and they were dishing out some big bucks when they were really trying to launch their video side. Made one of the like a huge contract with Rogan to make him Spotify exclusive for a while.
Oh.
And at that time, they were launching video playback for podcasts.
I'm like the only guy on earth that doesn't listen to Rogan.
I mean, judging by like YouTube play numbers and Spotify play numbers, there's maybe like 2 other guys on earth other than you that don't listen.
Who are you out there? If anybody else not listen to Rogan, give me a high five in the comments below.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so smarmy. Like I don't see Spotify offering much to the music industry other than it's kind of like, hey, we control the industry, so you've got to be here. And now to know like the one thing that was appealing with Spotify is like, well, Spotify playlist, you got to get on a Spotify playlist if you want to make it. Now knowing that is now like
subverted already.
Yeah, it's been tainted. Like, so even if you are on a Spotify playlist, well, now your chance, they're trying to beat you at their own game. Like,
and for new rising artists, the only artists that would actually care about getting on those playlists just to like break through the blockade a little bit. Well, now like openly that Spotify doesn't want you to get 1,000 plays on any song, because then they can just stop paying for that song.
Yep. And we know people have paid for certain placement.
Yes.
Like stuff is like, so it's not a fair game. Like this is algorithmic manipulation as well as like just blatant manipulation on their part. Whereas you can go to any other list of things they're still going to be algorithmic discovery based, but at least it's not this. I don't know. I don't know that there's a perfect answer.
No, I mean,
but that sure as heck ain't one.
No. You know what could have been the perfect answer? Legitimately, Pandora could have probably gotten as close to a perfect answer. Like they came out when I feel as though we didn't have as good of a handle on algorithms as we do now.
Yeah.
They were kind of, from my understanding, like one of the first when it came to algorithmic discovery for music.
Yeah.
And it was awesome at the time until it got messed up enough to where like your stations were just like the same thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, like when I was using Spotify, that's how it turned into anyway.
I mean, Spotify got repetitive.
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed to get a new song to enter one of my like made for you playlists.
Yeah.
But
on YouTube, I've got new stuff all the time.
Yeah, man. That's where all my record recs come from, which we're going to get to. But first, there's one other thing, because I don't know if I'll bring it again. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing next week. And on top of that, a whole bunch of other things. So who knows what we'll be talking about the next time.
You got a new toy.
I got a new toy, new gear day.
Vola.
Close this a little bit. So the boy Greg, good guy Greg, came over and he brought my new Vola bass. So a handful of episodes ago, now it's not going to record.
Oh, sorry.
Kilt it dead. That's okay. That screen grab didn't matter anyway.
Okay, my bad. It's why the people to see the pick guard.
That's true. I showed the 4-string a little while ago. That was a PJ setup. This is a 5-string JJ. With
zero
fret on their basses. I absolutely love that.
Explain why.
So for me, you get the same type of timbre on an open string as you get from a fretted string, which whenever I teach electric players, I tried to convince electric players to stay away from open strings because the timbre is just different no matter how you play it. On top of that, it's good to be comfortable moving things around if you ever have to change keys and stuff. If you rely only on the open strings, you're more likely to rely on a specific pattern of playing rather than knowing the notes that you're playing themselves. But that's essentially why I like a 0 fret. I've also heard that it's better for intonation. I don't know the physics of how that works or why that would be that way, but my reason is I like the open string tonality of it. But yeah, it's got the Goto bridge, just like the 4-string, has the same preamp. So all of this is Vola designed and made, the pickups and the preamp. Active passive switch, 3-band EQ, blend knob for the pickups and volume knob. But yeah, just Goto hardware all around. So intonation on this when I got it was perfect, essentially. The setup is really nice too. I haven't messed with it. This is like out of the box settings for me. I'm going to play around a little bit with pickup height and see how low I can get the strings. This is going to be, I'm going to try to daily it and see if it can be kind of my versatile do-all workhorse. But if it is, I'm going to want to drop the strings a little bit. We'll see how low I can get them without it getting too buzzy and clunky. But right now it's really responsive and it's pretty fast.
It's loud in the room.
Yeah. And it weighs 9.2 pounds, I think. It's very light and body heavy, which is what I like. We were talking about this off camera, but I want the headstock to kind of force its way up. It's better ergonomically, and weight distribution I prefer to have in the body. A lot of guys, especially guitarists, maybe this is way different for guitar.
Want it balanced?
Yeah, a lot of folks want it balanced. They want to be able to do the thing where they hold it right here and just stays up. But I like it to be a little bit body heavy if it's got to be heavy somewhere. So, but yeah, new bass day. I like it. Right now, you have this color combo of, I think they call it ocean turquoise or something. Probably won't pick up on camera, but there's a nice little like sparkle thing under the finish on this one too.
Oh yeah.
It's more subtle than that copper finish I was showing you, but so this color, this body color, comes with the maple fretboard, and a tobacco burst body color comes with the rosewood fretboard. So I wanted maple. I wanted it to be a little bit punchier, a little bit brighter and faster. So I went with this one. And that's all I got for you right now. It's a 5, so I can like play it live more. I was talking to the folks at Vola, and it's like, I love the 4-string. I use it in the studio every time we've had a session since I got it.
It sounds good.
It sounds great. But 99.999% of the live work I do requires a 5-string. So I haven't been able to play it on a stage. I did a music video with it because I relearned the song as drop C, but I don't want to set up the entire bass that's really useful in the studio and the only P that I have to be set up for a drop tuning and then not be able to use it in standard in a session.
Yeah.
So that's more about bass talk than you probably anticipated in this episode, but I got a new one. I want to show it off. Preamp's 18 volts. So you got 2 9-volt batteries in here, which is nice. Gives you a little bit more headroom and longevity. String through through body gives you a little bit more sustain.
The construction's pretty good.
It is. The carve outs feel real nice up against my body. I've got a larger stature, so maybe it won't feel as good.
Your body's a wonderland.
John.
Use my hands.
Bolts on neck. So it's, again, punchy, which is what I want. I'm going to be probably playing a lot of metal on this more so than other things in a live context. Metal and pop, so you want punchy in both of those scenarios. I have had about an hour of playtime on it so far. I got it home last night and just kind of plugged it into the Harrison stuff.
Yeah.
And then just straight into the DAW.
Yeah.
Sounded really, really nice. I'm still trying to find sweet spots for the neck pickup to get kind of that like buttery thing going on and not have it poke through too much. But there's two minor qualms I have. The first one, I also had this qualm on the 4-string variation. I like that the batteries are easily accessible. It feels nearly impossible to get them open when a battery's in it.
Oh.
Yeah. To where like I'm either going to break my fingernail off or I'm going to break this little tab off. So I don't know if that's just like a like wherever Vola gets the supply of these battery casings. To be clear, I haven't broken one by opening it, but it just feels really unsettling to try to force it open. And then the other small thing is I don't love the frequency range of the mid-band EQ. That's a total personal preference. I know a lot of cats that have played this and not this bass particular, but have played these 5 strings and they're in love with the preamp. The preamp sounds good to me, but for where I like to notch or boost the mid-range, it's a little bit off for me. It's a little bit
too high, too low.
A little bit too high for me.
Interesting.
I want it to be a little bit lower. I'm probably going to be way off if I try to give a specific frequency range.
You tend to mess with like 300, 400.
And that's what I like. And
I wonder if that's sitting around like 1-2K to do like the Fender thing.
I think it is. Because I noticed that if I try to roll treble off and boost mids and bass to get that buttery thing that I'm looking for, it's still too bright. Still too bright and also not tonally clear enough for the notes. It's like bright and muddy at the same time.
Yeah.
No. But all in all, it's great. So
should we talk about my experience with Vola?
We can. Last disclaimer, they're not paying me to say these things. They did send me the bass though, and I'm like a Vola artist. So
that has nothing to do with the podcast.
No, it has nothing to do.
Here.
And I'm telling you what I think. I told you things I didn't like about it too. So
well, they may not like this part then. I've been talking back and forth with them because they sent me a guitar.
We've shown that on a previous episode as well.
Yeah, and it's been on the channel once or twice. But I think whenever that was, if we go back and figure out when that was, and I was like, the thing's going to be tuning stability because everything else about that guitar is great. Well, turns out the tuning stability is awful to the point where it's completely unusable right now. I've tried to do little tweaks and I don't know what to do.
And it's so weird.
It is very weird.
Because it's a great bridge.
The Goto 150 is my favorite bridge. And on other guitars, it is rock solid. I don't think it's the bridge. I think it's the neck. I don't know.
Like it's moving or something or settling in?
I don't know. It's not predictable. And it's not doing the same things at a time, but I can't use it for a session.
And it's not the kind of thing where if it's in tune, it's fine, and then it loses tune.
It'll drift, but it drifts quickly, and it drifts in places that it's not replicatable.
Sweet. So it's not like it's just the tuning hardware, like tuning peg hardware.
I don't think so, unless they're like slowly slipping, but like that wasn't going to be the first.
Did you restring it yet?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. And I went with the same gauge that it had. I used the nut sauce on the thing because thinking maybe it's like, maybe the nut is too tight or something. Well, it seems fine.
Is it still floating, the bridge? Or did you slam it?
No, I didn't slam it.
I'd be interested in, and again, none of this is in defense. Like you shouldn't be dealing with these problems with any guitar anyway. Right. But I'd be curious to see if it has the same problem if you slam the bridge flat.
Yeah, I mean, well, then that defeats the purpose of having the 150 is such a
for sure,
crazy good bridge.
But I just trying my troubleshooting mind. Like, if we were partners in a marriage, you'd be frustrated because when you come to me for emotional support, I would be providing problem solving. So my mind immediately goes to, well, what can we try to narrow down to see what as actually happening?
No, and I get it. I've talked back and forth with them too, and it's just kind of like a stalemate.
Well, Jeremy and I are going to NAMM. As of recording, it's next week. Vola's going to be there. I plan on stopping by, maybe doing a demo, but maybe we can talk to the actual folks making them and stuff. And I'm sure that you're not the only one. And if you are the only one, then maybe now I'd be even more curious. Like, why is the single one doing it if you're the only one experiencing that?
Josh has the telly version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fixed tail.
Fixed tail. Yeah, it's a hard tail.
Does he have tuning stability issues?
I mean, you've seen him play. Yeah. He hits hard. He's a hard-hitting boy. But no, that one is his favorite guitar in the fleet right now. And not because he has to say that. It just is. Yeah. So
I loved it when it was which is even weirder because I don't know what has changed.
Yeah,
with it, which is a bummer because that guitar feels so good.
I hope
really good.
I hope that it's just something really dumb that's an easy fix, and then you can go back to using it all the time. Because I also really liked it.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's your balanced breakfast for the day.
Yeah, we covered so much. We had a camera die. I had OBS being really bad. But before we get out of here, we have to do record recs.
Now it's time for record recs.
I'm going to go first. I found this. I listened to this at a gas station in between here and West Virginia.
Okay.
And I Shazammed it, and this is what came up. South Hall, all I have. I heard it was the most random place. It was a very nice gas station.
Yeah.
A very nice bathroom.
Was it a Buc-ee's?
No, it was. I don't remember what it was. It was really nice, though. Even my 5-year-old son walks in and goes, wow.
I like that.
It was a Sheetz. That's what it was.
Sheetz is cool. This was years ago. So maybe they have changed the formula, but there's a lot of Sheetz on like the East Coast, right? That because you were over that area, right? So I was on tour one year and we stopped into a Sheetz and my mind was blown because they had this little touch screen, and this was 2012, I think. So before all the restaurants had touch screens and everything, but they had this little touch screen and you could build to order like your own pizza, whatever toppings you wanted and stuff. Hit the button, and then you could watch this conveyor belt robotically build and cook your pizza for you.
What a time to be alive.
And I got it, and my mind was blown. I was so excited to eat this $10 pizza, and it was garbage. It was like you got one of those like Totino's pizzas, but left the cardboard on the bottom and scooped the cheese onto it and threw the crust out the window.
Their food's better now because we ordered food while we were there.
Was it good?
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody that I talked to is like, Sheetz, yeah, they got the best food. It's like, bro, my one experience was not good.
Especially when you've got kids on a road trip, man. You can use the bathroom. You can get a drink. You can get some food, and you're back out there. When you got gas.
You can leave them there and then just leave.
That dad life, man. Anyway, what's your rec?
My rec is one I'm excited about. I couldn't wait. I had to show you a little bit when I first got in here. Mm-hmm. But my story was I felt like I was kind of dragging a little bit this morning. Not like raw dragging, but like, I'm tired dragging.
Raw dragging.
And
I got to save this. I know what's coming.
I was going through my YouTube new releases and stuff on YouTube Music. And this one popped up. I think you pronounce the group Cult, CVLTE. I listened through the whole album. But the intro track for the album, let me make sure I'm on the right song. Yes. It's just cool. It's like 8-bit hyper pop production, but then like rock anthemic choruses and hooks.
Kind of baby metal-ish.
A little bit, yeah. Now that one's cool.
What is this artwork?
I don't know if it's like the vocalist or if it's just all AI art.
Kind of looks AI.
I couldn't tell. I mean, it's like a little bit hip because they're using like what is that art style called? Like chroma, I think, is where it's like the metal, like swirly metal stuff that she has on her arms.
So she's praying for her cat who's getting sucked into a black hole.
Aren't we all?
Sitting in a W set. That is not good for your knees, ma'am.
So that was the intro track. Track 2, same song, but a nightcore version. So it's like a little bit faster, a little bit hyper.
Okay.
Same thing though. Next one, animated. I didn't listen through that whole one, to be honest, because I wanted to hear the other songs.
They have different versions of the same ones.
EP.exe
Oh.
is very cool in general, but about 1 minute in, it's like this vibe. It's like, oh, what's coming up now? Got this long build. Vocoder stuff happening all over the place.
Ooh.
Descending vocal line.
Is there a drop? Give it to me. Come on.
Ooh. Dubstep metal breakdown? Yes, please. The production work on this album all over the place is so cool. It tickles my brain the same way that like Andrew Wong production tickles my brain. You just have these like bleeps and bloops that are just incredibly present, and they want you to know that they're there.
Speaking of the tickle the brain thing, I tried to explain that to somebody. It's like, why do you listen to this? It makes no sense. I think I was listening to a Pliny song, and it was in like 17/8 or something. It's like, I don't know. It's just tickles my brain. That's all I could say.
It gets those neurons firing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Greg, same Vola Greg. I saw him yesterday, and he got to see Pliny live. And he was like, it brought me to tears. The performance did.
I want to go see him so bad.
He totally legitimately found himself in the front row. Completely legitimately.
Oh. How do you illegitimately get to the front row?
I don't know. Maybe there's a pathway leading to bathrooms that happens to be close to the entrance to the front row.
Where was this?
He told me the venue, and I don't remember. I want to say it was out west somewhere.
So not like a typical hardcore standing venue. This was like a seated place?
Like a nice place.
Okay.
And this was within the last few months. So
got it.
Yeah. Pliny at this caliber.
Got it.
Yeah. Gosh, I like that dude. I like that guy.
Pliny or?
Yeah. Well, and Greg. Greg's a great guy. Love that dude too.
We'll see him in a couple days.
We will. Yeah, very shortly.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Get out of here.
What should they drop if they've stayed this long? What did we even talk about today?
We could do a bicep to throw back to Ronnie Coleman from the last episode.
That is that's a deep cut of a B-side on
that man
an
is
unreleased.
Deep cut. At least he was.
He was, yeah. That's sad.
Respect
indeed. He's still grinding, man.
Lightweight,
baby.
Lightweight.
Sure. Bicep for good old Ronnie Coleman.
Not even in this episode.
What do you think about Spotify? Do you think they're actually being shady? Probably, right? Can we all? Yeah, probably, most likely. What else did we even talk about today?
I don't know.
I don't know either. If you have stuff to say about things we talked about, let us know in the comments. We're interested to hear it. Next time you'll see us, we'll be doing other stuff in other places. So bye.
Bye.